everyone, this is People in Power, Corporations on Trial. I'm Summer El-Shahat. On today's program, Juliana Ruhfus investigates the banana murders.
Nosotros llegamos en muy poco tiempo y con la violencia, con el poder de los fusiles, le arrebatamos todo eso por lo que tanto han luchado.
Chiquita is the world's most well-known banana brand. Colombia is one of the world's largest banana exporting nations in what is a multinational, multi-billion-dollar industry. So, with so much money at stake, it's perhaps no surprise that Chiquita became embroiled in the crossfire from Colombia's bloody civil war. Between 1997 and 2004, Chiquita gave $1.7 million to paramilitaries from the United Self-Defense Forces of Colombia, known as the AUC, for what Chiquita later characterized as self-defense. But the AUC death squads killed thousands of civilians, as well as intimidating and murdering banana workers and their union leaders. Over 10 civil lawsuits on behalf of victims of AUC violence have now been filed in Colombian and US courts. As Juliana Ruhfus reports, the plaintiffs are not just seeking compensation, they want the company's executives to face trial.
Colombia, 2009. A public prosecutor and his team of investigators are escorted deep into a banana plantation. They have come to exhume the remains of a man killed in Colombia's civil war. Here in Urabá, South America's bloodiest conflict has taken its heaviest toll. Between 1997 and 2004, at least 21,000 people died, and the banana plantations became a battleground. As part of the national peace and justice process, the public prosecutor is now investigating killings and disappearances. In the Urabá region alone, he's overseeing up to 10 exhumations a week. The wife of the dead man is present, accompanied by friends and a state psychologist. A forensic anthropologist is in charge of the digging.
Is there anything that you can tell so far?
Puede haber pasado dos cosas. Lo trajeron vivo y lo asesinaron. Y pues descuartizaron el cuerpo, o bien ya lo tienen descuartizado.
The killers had cut the body into pieces.
Escápula derecha presente, fragmentada.
As hundreds of graves are being opened, the truth of what happened during Colombia's dirty war is coming to light. And some of the killers are starting to talk.
En el año 95 yo acá he confesado 70 muertes de sindicalistas en el solo año 95. Una de mis misiones era obligar a esa gente a que trabajara, prohibirle hacer paros en contra de los patronos, y yo creo que no hubieran habido tantos muertos de parte de ese sector, ya que uno lo hubiera normalizado la economía del sector bananero.
This is a quest for truth and justice, a quest not only to bring the killers to trial, but also those who paid them to do their deadly work.
Hello, amigo. I'm Chiquita Banana, and I've come to say bananas have to ripen in a certain way, and when they're flecked with brown and have a golden hue, bananas taste the best and are the best for you. You can put them
The investigation into who paid Colombia's paramilitary death squads focuses on the world's best-known banana company, Chiquita Brands International, a fruit trading giant with annual revenues of around $4.5 billion US. Paul Wolf is one of a number of American attorneys working on a legal case against Chiquita.
Our law allows for a type of criminal, type of liability called aiding and abetting. And that means you have assisted, substantially assisted the perpetrator of the crime.
Wolf alleges that money provided by Chiquita to the paramilitaries means that the company was knowingly engaged in an ongoing campaign of terror. The victims of paramilitary violence are Wolf's clients. With this lawsuit, he is trying to get maximum compensation from Chiquita on their behalf.
And I've come to say bananas have to ripen in a certain
Chiquita
way.
has been growing bananas in Urabá for nearly a century. At the end of the 1980s, the company's operations were heavily affected by an escalating conflict between two competing left-wing guerrilla groups, in particular the actions of the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, or FARC. Businesses, security forces and local politicians felt the region was drifting out of control. In need of a powerful armed force of their own, they started backing right-wing paramilitary groups. By the mid-1990s, these militias banded together as the United Self-Defense Forces of Colombia, or AUC. Well armed and well funded, the AUC vowed to bring the region under their control. Like other local businesses, Chiquita too began making payments to the AUC.
This, in yellow, are the 4 municipalities in Urabá that grow bananas.
And we're right here in Apartador.
You're in Apartador. Now, the AUC had a unit here called the Banana Block, Bloque Bananero. Most of my cases are from there.
Paul Wolf has collected 10,000 potential plaintiffs. Since Chiquita is an American company, the case is heard in a U.S. court.
I think the case is a good case. I trust the U.S. legal system. I'm not sure that I would trust the Colombian legal system. Colombia is maybe unique in the world for horror stories that you'll hear. I have a client who was murdered with a chainsaw. I have maybe 50 people who were killed with machetes or pickaxes.
Promising that we would hide their identities, we interview some of Wolf's clients.
Mataron a mi esposo, papá de mis 2 niños. Él tenía una parcela, se fue a trabajar. Ese día que venía en la tarde. Y espere, y de ver que nada, que él aparecía. Yo me desesperé y en eso un amigo de él iba para allá que tenía un carro propio. Y él fue que lo encontró. O sea, él lo mataron como a las 4 de la tarde. Él amaneció tirado allá en la carretera. Me puse las botas y me metí en monte a trabajar, porque eso era lo único que tenía para sobrevivir con mis 2 hijos. Cuando a él lo mataron no había guerrilla para allá. Eran los paramilitares que... A mí en el barrio donde yo vivía, a uno le daba miedo salir de noche cuando recién llegaron ellos, porque eso allá era un cementerio, tras de la plaza. Le hubiera caído un muerto allá a los lados y... O sea, mucho terror.
By September 2001, reports of the AUC's human rights violations were piling up in the US State Department. American government officials decided to list Colombia's paramilitaries as a foreign terrorist organization, making it a federal crime to give them money. The listing was widely reported, although Chiquita claimed they didn't know about it for another 18 months. In the interim, they continued to make payments. Eventually, the company contacted their lawyers and got clear advice. 21st of February 2003, must stop payments. 26th of February 2003, bottom line, cannot make the payment. Chiquita decided to confess to the US Department of Justice, and officials confirmed that Chiquita was indeed on the wrong side of the law. In spite of their lawyer's recommendation, and in spite of the advice Chiquita received from the Justice Department, the company made 20 more payments to the paramilitaries, totaling $300,000 US. Not all those murdered were banana workers. But the plaintiffs argue that anybody killed by paramilitaries in Chiquita's pay should qualify for compensation.
Mi hijo era juicioso. Mi hijo solo quería trabajar. Salida porque era un pelado, era un niño todavía. Y ahí empezó a hacer amigos ahí en el matadero. Y yo lo esperé ese día y no llegó. Y a los días salí a preguntar y me dijo que no se lo habían llevado por ahí, en una moto. Entonces, unas personas me dijeron que averiguara ahí encurrulado, que de pronto ahí me daban noticias de él. Y después la fiscalía me dijo que mi hijo era muerto, que no lo buscara más. 3 días de haberme venido ya lo habían matado. Yo pienso que pues que no debía sentir miedo, pero lógico que lo debo de sentir. Porque al fin y al cabo pues los victimarios son ellos. Entonces, porque si yo soy la víctima tengo que andar con miedo.
This is a nasty situation, what? Quite all right, old fellow. Chin up and all that. Carry on.
I'm Chiquita Banana, and I've come to say that you really shouldn't treat a fellow man this way if you like to be.
Behind the scenes, US authorities were carrying out an investigation, and Chiquita's lawyers started negotiating the company's position.
On the 19th of March 2007, the US Department of Justice announced that Chiquita had entered a plea agreement. The sentence included a $25 million criminal fine, as well as a promise to collaborate in the ongoing investigation. US Attorney Taylor concluded that funding a terrorist organization could never be treated as the cost of doing business.
Chiquita's defense had been, and still is, that if they hadn't paid the paramilitaries would have killed their workers. The company declined to give us an interview, but sent a statement. Chiquita Brands was a victim of extortion in Colombia, and at all times the company acted to protect the lives and safety of our employees. But lawyer Paul Wolf is convinced that this defense won't be strong enough.
They signed the indictment. His word for word is the same. They admitted everything that they were accused of by the Department of Justice, including this knowledge element of knowing what the AUC was doing, the monthly payments. When they admitted that, they signed the plea agreement, and that becomes a basis for a civil suit.
Chiquita admitted their payments between 1997 and 2004 totaled $1.7 million.
The central piece of evidence is an admission, and I don't see how we can lose with that admission. I really don't see how we can lose.
April 2007. Residents of Urabá hold a demonstration to commemorate those killed during the peak of paramilitary violence, the years when Chiquita was paying the AUC. The company's plea agreement in America settled their federal case, but laid it wide open to possible compensation claims from victims. Urabá began to see an influx of lawyers looking for clients.
There is a perception here in Colombia that lawyers have come to piggyback on this case, international and local lawyers, all fighting to get a slice of the action and to possibly get a slice of the money. We've heard this from a number of people. What is your response to this? You're one of the lawyers.
Well, they're right. I mean, I can't think of a worse profession. And this part of the legal profession is a terrible part of the legal profession. It attracts people who go to natural disasters like earthquakes and signing up people, hey, I heard your husband died, sign on the dotted line. It's really ugly. But I do believe it's a good cause at the end of the day.
In Colombia's capital, Bogotá, a collective of local lawyers are also preparing for court action against Chiquita. But Alirio Uribe is working on a private criminal case.
Para nosotros, lo importante entonces no es, en este caso, buscar un dinero. Nosotros lo que estamos buscando es justicia.
Uribe wants to see 13 of Chiquita's board members extradited to Colombia to face charges relating to their responsibility for the crimes against humanity and human rights violations committed by the paramilitaries. Records of board conversations and internal mail contained in the indictment, taken with stories in the US press, detail the role that Chiquita's senior executives played during the period of illegal payments. For example, on April 3, 2003, Robert Olson, a vice president and the company's legal counsel, defiantly dismissed the scrutiny of Department of Justice officials, saying, "Just let them sue us, come after us." On two subsequent occasions that year, board meetings attended by Cyrus Friedheim, Chiquita CEO, decided that the company should continue making payments. But eventually Chiquita's directors woke up to the danger they were in. On December 22, 2003, Roderick Hills, head of the company's audit committee, told the board that we appear to be committing a felony.
Nosotros tenemos muchas dificultades en Colombia para que haya justicia, pero si no hay investigación criminal en Estados Unidos, por lo menos estamos tratando de que la haya en Colombia con todos los riesgos para las víctimas, los riesgos para los abogados que nos metemos en los casos. Las víctimas que nos han dado poder a nosotros están esperando justicia también. Y es que vayan a prisión los que cometieron los crímenes.
Just now, Colombia is grappling with the many meanings of justice. Across the country, thousands of victims and their relatives are coming forward to help resolve the crimes of the past. Under the terms of the country's Peace and Justice Commission, it is finding the truth that matters most. Even infamous paramilitaries can reduce their sentence by giving full testimony. One of them is Eva Velosa Garcia, also known as H. He has taken responsibility for over 3,000 killings when he was commander for the Banana Bloc. He is held under heavy security. After hours of persistence, we were granted an interview with him, just days before his extradition to the United States. It would be the last time he spoke to the press.
What was the arrangement between the banana companies and the paramilitaries?
Cuando nosotros llegamos, en medio de la violencia, toda esta carga se le quitó a las empresas bananeras, que ellos no nos dieron dinero para matar a una persona específicamente, pero con ese dinero que nos dieron nosotros compramos fusiles, compramos municiones.
H. made no secret of the fact that he and his gunmen were ordered by the AUC Supremo Castaño to target trade union members. Contrary to Chiquita's claim that the company was safeguarding its workers with their payments, the paramilitaries actually began killing them.
Entonces, la forma era ir a las fincas y explicarles que ya había una nueva ley, que habían llegado las autodefensas de los Castaño, y que había unas nuevas normas y leyes que había que regir en ese momento, y que eran las nuestras, y que era que cada totalmente podía realizar paros que perjudicaran la economía bananera. Y nosotros llegamos en muy poco tiempo y con la violencia, con el cuerno de los fusiles, le arrebatamos todo eso por lo que tanto han luchado. Eso es uno de los grandes beneficios que tuvieron las bananeras.
Although no longer paid by Chiquita, the paramilitaries and their crimes are still making headlines in Apartador.
Today's newspaper front page is about a paramilitary leader called Don Mario. Officially, Colombia's paramilitaries were demobilized in 2000, but the arrest of some of the leaders left a power vacuum, and a new generation, such as Don Mario, emerged.
With so many paramilitaries still at large and fear prevailing in Urabá, it takes us a while to find two trade union members who can confirm H's version of events and who are prepared to go on record.
Las personas margen de la ley entraban a dicha finca donde estaban los trabajadores laborando. Ellos hicieron expresaron lo que sentía la organización, a la política que ellos tienen. Nadie decía. Entonces llegaban al trabajador, lo cogían, lo amarraban con alambre, manos atrás. Y muchas veces utilizaban motosierra, alicates, le iban partiendo pedacito a pedacito para que comenzara a decir, comenzaban a sacarle las uñas para que comenzara a decir. Entonces las personas que estaban torturando en muchas ocasiones contaban personas que a veces hacían presencia en el momento que estaban torturando a alguien, que la persona no sabía nada, pero en el momento, pues, pensando de que le iban a dejar perdonar la vida, se inventaba cualquier cosa, ¿cierto?
La pregunta es, ¿de dónde vino la plata para pagar a los paramilitares? Aún, yo digo, hasta de nosotros mismos. Hasta de nuestro salario, nosotros mismos le pagábamos a los paramilitares para que los paramilitares nos mataran.
Chiquita sold its Colombian subsidiary in 2004. But this is a case so big, it could leave a mark on Colombia's relations with its closest political ally, the United States. So we traveled to Bogotá to see the person in charge of the Colombian state investigation into Chiquita, Attorney General Mario Iguán. And although the Colombian media has widely reported his calls for extradition of Chiquita CEOs, he is circumspect.
Hemos hecho solicitud de extradición. Lo que hemos manifestado es que si el día de mañana se llega a establecer una responsabilidad penal de funcionarios o empleados de esta multinacional o de cualquiera, nosotros no vamos a vacilar en solicitar la extradición. Es posible que en el caso de Chiquita Brands fue una víctima de la extorsión de los paramilitares.
Nosotros no los obligamos a que nos llevaran, ellos fueron los que nos llevaron a pelear esa zona para ellos. O sea que los aportes fueron voluntarios. Chiquita Brands lo reconoció ya en Estados Unidos.
Ache's televised appearances at the Peace and Justice Commission may well be calculated to reduce his sentence, but he says his call for Chiquita to be tried beside him is a genuine one.
Y yo creo que deben de responder como estamos respondiendo nosotros, porque son más culpables que nosotros, porque ellos por un solo objetivo, el solo objetivo de conseguir dinero, con miles de muertos, miles de huérfanos, de viudas, desolación en toda esa zona, que hay una guerra total. O sea, son más responsables que nosotros, deben de responder igual que nosotros.
All the cases are united by the role Chiquita played in paying the paramilitaries. And even though the lawyers have embarked on different legal strategies, they agree that they work towards a shared goal.
Si nosotros logramos que la Chiquita responda económicamente a las víctimas y si logramos llevar a prisión a funcionarios nacionales y de Estados Unidos por estos crímenes, nosotros estamos mandando un mensaje preventivo para que esa política de financiar la guerra sucia no continúe.
In the meantime, the exhumations continue across Urabá. And with each body that is exhumed, Colombia hopes to find a little more truth. When DNA tests prove blood ties, the bones are returned to the relatives. And those killed in the banana plantations can finally be laid to rest.
That's it for this special edition of People and Power. In the next of our Corporations on Trial series, natural disaster or human negligence. Juliana Ruhfus in search of muddy justice in Indonesia.
Underneath this mud, near the town of Porong in East Java, 12 villages lie buried. On May 29th, 2006, a geyser of scalding mud erupted here. 40,000 people were made homeless. What caused the eruption has become a national controversy.
That's next week. In the meantime, if you'd like to comment on today's report, we'd love to hear from you on aljazeera.net/English. Until next time, bye-bye.